Hey friends, it's Missy again. Thanks so much for stopping in today. I have a new layout to share for the Paige Evans design team, and I'm going to be using her Go the Scenic Route collection for this. And this layout is going to go on a journey. So let's just start here with this paper. I love this paper. The colors are gorgeous. This is paper number 3. And I decided to cut a bunch of circles using Paige's Penny Tile Circles cut file. The idea that I began with was I wanted to just create with a bunch of fun, bright colored circles. But then when I peeled off the negative piece, I loved how that looked. And I thought this would make a cool background design. So I decided to just put the circles aside and go with the negative piece. So I wasn't really looking to use this for the stamps. I was mainly going for all of the different colors on the paper. And so I just wanted to make a bunch of circles with all these colors and just try to make something out of it. But then I saw this and I loved it. So I'm going to kind of just go with it. And I decided to use a big chunk of this as a big background design element. So I just kind of went to tearing it up because I want it to be uneven and crooked and a little wonky. So that's where I'm going to start. And I love how this looks. I don't know what picture I'm going to use. I have a couple that I have sitting here. I might use a pool photo. I might use these pictures of me and my mom and my sister that have a lot of pink in them. Not quite sure, because I could use lots of different kinds of photos with this particular paper because it has all the colors in it. I didn't want to use a black and white picture though. I wanted to challenge myself to use a color photo and make it work on this colorful background. And I like these two different, I like the pool photo because it has a lot of blue, and I like these photos because they have a lot of pink, and I thought that they both would match well. So since I'm using that stamp paper with all the colors, I'm going to use a white background, and this is thick, smooth white. This is the Basil Marshmallow cardstock, and I'm going to coat it with clear gesso because I am going to do mixed media. And now that that's dry, I'm going to kind of see what I'm going to do from here. I decided to use these two pictures because I like the pink. There's a lot of pink in the background paper, but it's more of a lighter pink, and there's actually a couple of different shades of pink. So I thought I would do this, and it's going to change. So let's just kind of go through the process. I wanted to do some color behind all of those open circles. So I pulled out some of my favorite shimmers that match this collection perfectly. And of course, you probably know what color this is. It's my favorite blue. It's called Jenny B Blue. And I just sprayed it on the background, add a little bit of water, use my brush to kind of help spray it around. And I put a lot of blue right in this section because that is where the photos are going to go, and there is no blue in the photos, and so I wanted a contrasting color kind of behind where they're going to go. So I start with the blue and get that little section done, and then I thought I would go with some yellow. So I pulled out, this color is called, actually it's kind of a cross between yellow and orange. It's called, I think, Sunset Strip. It's also by Shimmers, and it's a Vibes, and it's going to create a little bit of a green here where they meet, and I'm dabbing a little bit of it up. Remember, the cut file is going to go on top of this, so you're going to be seeing this kind of inside all of those open circles, and then a little bit above it where the blue is. And then I'm going to come in with this color called Mango Tango, and in that paper, there is kind of a reddish orange-ish color, and this spray matches it. And so I thought I would do that a little bit. And this is going to get a little too much here in a second. I'm liking how this is looking. I love making backgrounds. And I thought this was going to look good. I thought this was a good idea. But when I put the paper back over it, I don't like it. It's just too much. I feel like the color on the background just takes away from the paper. I don't know. It totally changes the effect of it. I kind of wish I would have left the background white. So I'm going to work on it. We're not going to chunk it. We're going to make it work. I'm a huge supporter of just keep working on it. There's a way to salvage it if you don't like it. And I don't dislike it, but I don't love it. I feel like it changes the colors in the paper, and I don't like that. But I did want to show you this background. Look how shimmery it is. Love, love, love that. So the background is great, but when I put this paper back over it, I'm not crazy about it. I'm not crazy about it at all. So I decided, yes, we're going to cover a lot of this up. I don't want it to go away completely. I just want to lighten it up. So I'm going to use white gesso to do that, because clear gesso is clear. Obviously, it wouldn't do anything except go over clear. So this is why I'm using white. And I just want to soften it up to see if that makes it look better. And I think it does. It makes the background or the cut file paper stand out a little bit more. So I'm satisfied with that for now. The background is dry. I'm going to add some glue to this circle paper, and I'm going to glue it down because I want this to be part of the background. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that down, and I'm using Scotch tacky glue in my bottle there. Love that glue. I'm going to roll over it, make sure it's all nice and flat. And this isn't too bad. I like it. I'm going to see what it looks like with the pictures. I knew this was going to be a busy background because of the nature of this paper and how many colors and the circles. So it's pretty busy. I wanted to tone down the area behind where the photos are going to go. And I do this a lot when I use a busy background, because I don't want the background to overshadow the pictures. And then I had gesso on my fingers, and then I touched the photos, and guess what? I got gesso on the pictures, and then I tried to scrape it off, and then I actually scraped some of the picture off. It was a disaster. How long have I been doing this? I should know not to touch the photos when I have gunk on my hands, but you know what? Whoever follows their own rules, you know, I do stupid things all the time, and so I tried to get it off, but I'm going to fix it. It's okay. I'm going to cleverly disguise it later. At least it wasn't on someone's face. It was on my sister's shirt, but you won't be able to see it later. So I just kept going with the gesso, and I wound up covering up a lot of the pattern in the circle paper. And I feel like you can still see a lot of it. I'm going to see what it looks like when I put the photos down. Then I decided I didn't like that mango tango reddish color over to the left, that I wanted it to be more on the pink side to pull from my the pink in the shirts. So I decided to cover it up with more shimmers. This is called Vibes Sweetheart, and I'm just kind of using a brush this time to color in those circles. And I like it. Don't love it. I'm going to keep working on it. I like the pink a little bit better than the red coral color, but then when I bring the photos back, the pinks totally clash. I'm like, this is nowhere near the pink in the shirt. So I tried a different photo. Still didn't jive. So I'm going to do another pink color. This one is called Pink Stilettos. It's a little bit more of a deeper pink. It still didn't match. I kept working on it. I finally got fed up with trying to get the color right. I turned off the camera, I took a break, and I wound up coloring it in with a color called Pink Moscato. It's still just, it was just not, yeah. I just felt like it was going from bad to worse. So yeah, I had to take a break. I let it dry, and then guess what? I just went back over all of it with white gesso, and I still didn't like it. I thought, what are you doing? Good grief, you've covered up the whole circle paper, which was the whole point of the background in the first place. So what did I do? I picked up the piece that I didn't use the first time, and I'm going to glue it on top of this piece that I have added all the stuff to, so I can actually see the paper. And I'm going to leave it and see how that looks, because I didn't want to cover up all the colors in the paper. It just got out of hand. You know, when you try to continuously mess with it and cover it up and fix it, it just, yeah. So I just decided to move the background out of my face for a while. I'm going to work on layering up the photos here. I'm going to use some white tissue paper as my first little subtle layer around the photos here. And I am going to layer up some pattern papers behind the photos also, because they're going to be against that colorful background and I want them to stand out. So I just picked out some papers, basically some scraps that I've already used on other layouts. This particular blue sheet I tore from the 12 by 12 paper pad. This orange paper has the map on the back. I believe that is paper number 7, I think. 6 or 7. It's got that really cute map on the other side. I'm going to use some things from the 6 by 8 paper pad. I'm looking for some orange, some blue, some yellow, just different colors, kind of a rainbow variety of colors to have peeking around the edges of the 2 photos. I'm trying to stay away from pink right now, or at least the pink that's in the photo. You can see I think I use these for a Christmas layout, but I saved the scraps because you never know when you come across a layout like this where you just want to use a little bit of a scrap, and there you go, you have it. So I try to save anything that can be used in a future layout. I try to save it. But I think that's where our hoarding tendencies come into play. We always feel like, oh, I'm going to use this someday. So we save it. Sometimes you do use it, but then sometimes, you know, it's years later and you realize, oh, I never used that. Anyway, I like how this is looking. I think the background is going to stay as is. I do add a little bit here in just a second, but I think it's the circles look okay. I like the color behind the circles. We're just going to keep it and go with it because I was not about to start over with another background. I spent way too much time dealing with this one, so we're going to go with it. I did want a little more blue kind of coming below the photo, so I went back to that Jenny B blue and just added a little more in the exact spot where I wanted it to show. And some of it is going to come over the cut file here just a little bit where the edge of the photo is, but not too much. And like I said, I wanted a contrasting color like the blue because that color is not in the photo, just kind of something different. Now I do find this little scrap of paper from the collection that does match the pink in the photo, and so I'm going to layer a little bit of that under everything that I've already layered behind the photo, so it's kind of separated from the photo. It's not right up against it. So I feel like it was okay to do that. I'm going to pull in a little bit of navy blue because there is a little bit of that color in the circle paper. And then just start to work on layering. I've pulled a bunch of things over there to the right. I went through the floral die cuts, the ephemera die cut pack, and just kind of play around with things. I've got some chipboard pieces from the big 12 by 12 chipboard sticker sheet. I've got a couple frames. I'm just looking for things that match, things that are kind of general in their sentiments, like that heart says happy. You know, you could use that on any type of layout. And I'm also looking to spread the color around. This is not a tone-on-tone layout, so I'm not trying to keep certain colors in certain areas. I'm trying to spread it all around. And I like that blue and green happy heart sticker because it's a different color in that particular area. I'm going to create a little cluster over to the left here, and I'm going to use some flowers. Some of these are from pattern papers that I have fussy cut out previously for other projects that I didn't use. I felt like I needed some orange over on the left, and I didn't have any orange flowers, so I'm just going to use this pink one to trace onto the same orange paper that I used as a layer, and then I'm going to cut it out and just basically make my own flower here because I didn't have anything orange over on the left side and I needed something in that color. So I'm just going to tuck it in there, and I'm going to wind up adding something on top of it later to break up that solid orange color. So before I get to gluing, I'm going to add in some thread. I've got the navy blue color that I'm going to tuck in over here into this flower cluster because I want to pull from the right cluster over to this side of the layout. And then I'm going to add some yellow to the left of the 2 photos. And if you look in between the 2 photos to the right where I've got that little light pink flower tucked in there, that's to cover up where I scratched some of the photo off on my sister's shirt. So now you can't see it. So sometimes if you get clever with your embellishing, you can cover up mistakes. You know, I didn't feel like printing out another photo. If I could cleverly disguise it, then you would never know I did that. But I love that cluster. I have a little piece of a tag over there on the left to bring in some of that pretty aqua blue color that I'm going to put in the cluster. And then I'm going to add in some more thread. This is that bluish Jenny B blue color kind of underneath the corner of the photo here. And then I've got a couple of chipboard heart stickers that I'm going to kind of trickle down, kind of cascading down underneath the photos for something in that area since there's a lot of white space. And then I'm going to start to glue. And I like how random this is. You know, I hadn't started out by thinking I'm going to use a lot of flowers on this layout. When I first started this layout, I honestly wanted to use all of the dots that came out of the cut file, and I wanted to create sort of just this random sprinkling, kind of like confetti of circles in some kind of way. And then I instantly changed my mind when I peeled off that sheet and I thought, oh my gosh, look at all these open circles. This looks so cool on this paper. Instantly changed my mind. I have no idea what the other layout idea would have looked like because it never happened. This one sort of took over, and I don't know, sometimes I want everything on the layout to have meaning, and then sometimes I like it to be random. Like, you know, I like this random background. It's just fun, it's different. And then I thought, you know, let's embellish with some matching flowers. Who knows? You know, one idea can just lead to the next, and before you know it, you've got this completely different layout in front of you. But this is what I've got so far. It's pretty dimensional. I've got some things popped up with adhesive foam. I love to do that. I use that stuff on every layout because it makes your dimension stand out. It makes things, your layers, it just really enhances your layers. It creates depth and interest. I love it. Now, if you look at that little blue piece that I've got on the far left, it's got that foiled mandala looking flower piece. So I cut out the one that was on the remaining part of that same tag, and I'm going to tuck it in on the corner there up at the right to kind of echo that idea. And then I'm going to pull in a couple of the darker blue stickers from the cardstock sticker sheet. This piece says yay. This was just a fun day. I believe this might have been Thanksgiving one year. And, you know, if my mom and my sister, and we're all together, we have to make silly, goofy, fun pictures together. So, and my mom and I happen to match. So I thought, ooh, this has got a lot of pink in it, and it would match this collection. And it did. I'm going to use some of these chipboard dots. That were really hard to get off the sheet there, but I got them off. Scatter those around, kind of like enamel dots, in a couple places, just for some fun little pops of color. Again, just kind of random. You know, I've got some flowers, we've got some hearts, we've got some dots, some torn edges. I like it. This is where I'm going to add something to that plain orange flower that I cut earlier. I'm going to fussy cut this little orange and navy blue flower from, I think that was a scrap from the 6x8 paper pad, but it just kind of adds something to the center of that flower. And then these are the Puffy phrase stickers. There are also some little dots on those sticker sheets. They're a little bit smaller than the ones on the chipboard sheet, so I'm going to scatter those around in a couple places as well, just to add little pops of color. At this point, I'm just looking for small things. I did like this Puffy phrase sticker that says snap a photo, and I struggled with the title. That's why the title is coming in at the end, and I wanted something that was one solid color, and so I felt like the word us was going to somehow be used, because when I looked at the foam thickers, the U and the S were both navy blue. And then I pulled out the navy blue mini thickers from the Pick Me Up collection. And so we're just going to go with This Is Us. I'm going to mix and match. I like the different sizes. And then I'm going to add another little fussy cut flower to the left of the U to break up that little area. And so, yeah, the title's kind of small, but I felt like I didn't want something huge. I didn't want to do a multicolor title because there's just too many colors, or not too many, but enough colors going on, and the title would not stand out if it had too many colors in it. So I wanted to narrow the colors down for the title. And so that's what I came up with. And then I'm going to add this snap a photo down here at the bottom as a kind of a little secondary, smaller title. And then the journaling is going to come down here at the bottom, and I'm going to use my ruler to make sure the lines are straight because I can't draw a straight line to save my life. So the ruler is my best friend for that. And I'm using a black fine tip Sharpie for the journaling. And then the last thing I'm going to do is come in with those same colors I used on the background to add some splatters. I'm going to use the Jenny B Blue, the Sunset Strip, and then one of the pinks. I use several pinks. I think I come back in with the pink Moscato, which is that really deep, deep, almost wine colored pink color. But I believe that's it. I do add the date off camera, but here come the final photos. That's it. I love how this turned out. I was pleasantly surprised, like I said, with the change of plans when I saw the cut file. I don't know, sometimes I just love making random backgrounds, and so this is one of those layouts. But I love using all the colors. I love the mixing and the matching of the chipboard and the flat stickers. And even though the background took a while to finally get organized like I liked it, it was fun, you know. I just kept adding stuff, and it got stressful there for a minute, but I think in the end it worked out. And I hope this inspires you to, you know, experiment with your cut files. You know, you don't always have to use the main part of the cut file. You may like the excess pieces that are the leftovers better, you know. And I still like the circles. I still have all the circles. I may use those on my next layout. Who knows? But I have those, and I want to use them at some point. But let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to link everything down below that I used, and I hope you guys have a great week or weekend, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you for stopping by, and I'll see you next time.